Toyota, Toyota, Toyota. Slik starter denne låta. Ja, låta, Hiace kommer nå.
In this video, I show you how to remove the front lights as well as the grille and the bumper from the 91 Hiace cruising cabin LH119. I'm going to start with the signal and marker lights, also known as the park lights. When you open the door, you'll find a very large Phillips head screw, and you undo it, and as you're turning it out, you give it a little push forward, and it dislodges the clips from the front of the signal light. And I just put that screw on the floor mat so I know where it is. And you go outside and just pop it off. No problem. You can either remove each bulb separately, or you can take off the clip where they're both connected to. I'm just going to repeat the same process on the passenger side. Just remove that screw. It's kind of hard to see there because the door didn't open up all the way. It's a funny angle too. But just reach in, grab that screw, stash it on the floor mat for now, because it's exactly where it'll be when I come to get it. Pop it off. And there, I just unclipped them both at one time on that main clip there. We'll move on to the marker light, park light. And that assembly is attached by one screw right there that you can access once the signal light is removed. It's a similar Phillips head screw with a large head on it. And then the whole assembly slides forward, comes out, and I usually put that screw back into that hole just so I know where it is. Otherwise you get a whole bunch of screws at the end of it and you don't know where they all went. And if they are different diameters, like if some have bigger threads on them, they might not want to go into the same holes. So I just like to keep the ones separate. So I'll just remove this one. Dropped it on the ground. Push it forward, falls right out. And I'll just leave it dangle on the wires. Pick up that screw, put it back in. And same thing, just unclip those. You can also take the bulbs out, leave the fixture there, but for this I just unclip them all. And I'll put some grease into all of those connections when I reinstall them. Removing the grille is easy. There is one very small Phillips screw on each corner. Top corner, top left and top right. You just simply remove those two screws. And there are some clips, top and bottom of the grille. The bottom ones are actually mostly broken. And then it just pops off. To remove the headlights, you take out 4 screws, one on each corner. They're a large Phillips head screw as well. This large Phillips screwdriver is all that I've needed so far, but you could have also used a socket to remove these. And then the wires just unplug, and it comes out. And those are the terminals there where it was plugged into. To remove the bumper, the outer assembly of the bumper, I've got a 12mm socket with my short snap-on extension. Put that on the M12 ratchet. And I like to crack them all first before I remove them. Put it on, give it a little turn, crack it, and then let the ratchet do the work. I like that part about it. You can use it as basically a standard ratchet as well as the powered ratchet, and because of the size of it, it's really easy to use like that with the low profile batteries. It's not very cumbersome unless you've got the bigger batteries on it. The 4 and 6 amp hour batteries tends to get in the way. So those 4 on the front and 1 on each side. Same size, same shouldered bolts that are on the rear bumpers. The front bumper has the same side clips as the rear bumpers as well. You just pull out and the bumper comes down. I've got some auxiliary lights which I've already disconnected, and there are wires connected to sonar sensors on each corner there. Those little buggy eyeball looking things in the corners were some sort of 90s park assist, I guess, a crude form of park assist, but I don't need them. They were optional in some vans, but I don't need them on mine, so I'm going to be deleting them. I've got a pretty skookum reverse camera, and I need the dash space for switches. With those removed, it should come right off. Now, there was a fifth bolt behind where my license plate is. You can see it there, but it had pulled out of that hole and separated. But you'd have to remove your license plate if yours was attached and go down there and remove that fifth one before removing the bumper. And with this off, I'll have some access to do some thorough cleaning from the front, places I couldn't really get into. Nearly every single bolt on this van is 12 millimeters, so it's also 12 millimeter bolts holding on the front sub-assembly for the bumper. It's also called a bumper stay in some of the literature. So bumper stay or bumper sub-assembly, that metal channel piece going across that supports the bumper skin and where the grille actually clips into. And it's a little bit rusty, so I'm going to actually just use the angle grinder with the wire brush and get rid of some of that rust and give it a coat of paint before I put it back in. The horn is also held in by a 12 millimeter bolt, and so you need to remove that. Or if you're leaving it connected to that sub-assembly, you can disconnect the horn wire, and then there's a retaining clip that keeps the wire attached into the sub-assembly right there. You need to grab a pliers and pop that out. And mine actually, the wire actually broke as I was taking it out, so it had been frayed. There, got it out. I'm going to clean that all up and get it painted and get it looking brand new again. And that's where the horn mounts onto right there. After wire brushing, I wiped it down with a solvent cleaner and gave it a coat of satin paint, just black rust paint. Hook it in. In addition to cleaning in here and spraying rust inhibitor, the rust check spray, I also took those two fans off the air conditioner condenser and cleaned everything inside there, tested the fans. And I'm applying some anti-seize to the threads before I install these bolts.
Toyota, slik starter denne låta. Ja, låta, Hiace kommer nå.